Hi everyone, it's Tamara here with another card making tutorial, this week using this fun image from Stamping Bella called Curvy Girl Loves Coffee. I'll be doing some Copic coloring of Curvy Girl and then doing the card making tutorial. So let's get started. So we'll get Curvy Girl out now, and I'll also grab my Misti. Now, as she is rubber backed stamp, we don't need the black rubber that sits in your Misti, so we'll just pull that out. I've got a scrap piece of my Copic Express cardstock, so I'll pop her in, and I'll be using my Memento Tuxedo Black Ink for today. And this image stamps up so beautifully. I only needed to stamp it out once, and I got a beautiful impression. So we'll press her down, give her a good press, and we'll set her aside to dry. I'm going to be using a piece of cardstock from the Sweet Day paper pack that I have, and I just thought it was beautiful with the pink, and it's kind of got like a splatter which I thought would look really good with the coffee, and I'm going to color up her top to match. So I'll just pop on some music now while I do my coloring, and then we'll come back with the card making tutorial. For my pattern paper, I'm going to be using a double stitch rectangle die to cut the back panel. And because it's a little bit big, I'm just going to trim this paper down to size so that I can fit it through my die cutting machine. So I've just grabbed out my paper trimmer, just give that a trim, and I'll take that over the die cutting machine to get that cut. To match the pink dots on that paper, I've grabbed a piece of pink cardstock and we'll be using this scalloped rectangle die to cut out that panel. And then I've grabbed a stitch rectangle die to fit snugly inside that panel, and I'll be cutting that out in white cardstock. For the white panel, I'll be using the Java Nice Day stamp set from La La Land Crafts. So I've just grabbed out my Misti, and I'll just be using these two elements to stamp some coffee type images on that front piece of cardstock. I'll be using tea dye, vintage photo, and ground Expresso distress oxides to stamp these out. So I'll double stamp them in a multitude of spots, and as I go around, I'll just clean off my stamps with my chamois and then use that again to place it down. So I found just doing it twice gave a nice impression, so I'll just add another one to the side here. Just kind of angle them at all different angles to get a nice amount of difference between each one. And then even if you do get a little bit of that ink on your rubber mat, that just wipes off really easy with your stamp chamois. So now I'm using the vintage photo to add these coffee rings. So I'm just going to strategically place part of that over this coffee. Give that 2 stamps and then just rotate that, and we'll just get a little bit just down the bottom there, again in the vintage photo. And then I'll grab out the ground Expresso and we'll just add some final touches, just filling that card space up with these coffee images. We'll stamp that again with the ground Expresso. Another one down here. And then I just thought I was missing something here, so I've grabbed that top part again, and I'm just going to stamp that out again in the tea dye. And give that a double stamp. And then we'll just add one final of the coffee grounds to finish off the background panel. Now the white was looking a little bit stark, so I've grabbed out the tea dye oxide ink, and I'm just giving it a really light go around the edges just to give that a little bit more of a coffee look. So we'll set that aside to dry. While that's drying, I've just grabbed a piece of scrap cardstock. Again, I've taken out the rubber mat from my Misti because also the sentiment is rubber backed. And I'm using my Versamark Onyx Black Ink to stamp out the sentiment. Now I have this little speech bubble from a Mama Elephant stamp set or die set, and I'm just going to cut out our sentiment out of that. Perfect. I've already pre-cut and scored a white card base, so I'll be attaching my pattern paper directly to that with some glue. So I'll just have a nice white border around all the edges. So make sure that that's all lined up evenly on all 4 sides. So once you're happy that it's in the correct spot, give that a good press down. Now I had a little bit of a change of heart here. I had done out a pink scalloped rectangle, but I just thought it didn't really pop with that Java kind of stamp on the front, so I've actually swapped it out for a white one, and I just think that pops a little bit more, and the white matches in really nicely with our card base as well. So we'll just attach our stamped panel to the white now. I thought about adding a little bit of dimension to the back of this panel, but I'm actually going to just use foam tape on Curvy Girl and the sentiment, so I'm just going to glue this directly to the card base. So I'm just going to line that up, centered on all 4 sides, so you've got that pattern paper showing perfectly around all the edges, and just use my T ruler to make sure that's right. I've grabbed out my Express foam tape and I'm just going to strategically place some foam tape all around Curvy Girl, making sure I'm supporting those legs. So I'll put some on her feet, and this little bit was a little bit too big for her feet, so I've moved that up to where the coffee is and just making sure it's lined up so it doesn't show too much from the other side. Place a small piece on the other foot, and I'll just cut this in half and put that on either side to pop up our sentiment. I've now taken off all the release paper, and just using my tweezers I will line her up on the front so that we've got a good amount of that background showing, but she's our prominent image. So we popped her up, and then we'll get our sentiment attached up on the top right. So it's good to line it up with those dots and give that a press. And this is the finished card for today. Curvy Girl is so gorgeous and she was so fun to colour. I loved when I found this piece of pattern paper. I just knew that it would match in perfectly with her and that I could colour her up to match it. And having those coffee stamps, I think, just really make this card. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please leave a message and hit the like button. And if you'd like to see any future videos, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.